Hi, I am Najeli. I am going to talk about the number circles or number wheel. This is a very interactive strategy in math or even for a second language or to teach a different language. You can even use it for Spanish or Italian or any other language to teach numbers. I have a different activity. The benefits of the number wheel are immense. I have listed only a few here. I like the number wheels because you can meet different learning style needs, and the kinesthetic learners and the visual learners will love this activity. They can be used at different levels and ages. For example, with pre-K, you can have a number wheel to start teaching them numbers, and then you can be, instead of always using counting your fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to 10, you can teach them by number recognition by pointing at each one of the numbers on the number wheel after you have made them. Some learners will be able to make them themselves, or there is also the option of buying them. You can buy them in bulk. You can find them at teacher stores. For older learners, you can use them with multiplication, subtractions, or additions, any equation basically, and you can also use it for geometry to teach them shapes, because when you connect the lines and when you connect the lines with the numbers in them, you can make shapes very easily. So if they are not very exact with how to trace a shape, you can teach them how to use the number wheel to trace those shapes. A number wheel is basically a number line. It goes from 0 to 10 in this case. You can start by teaching them the concept of the 0 if you want, or depending on their level. You're gonna have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to 9, and then you have the 0 instead of a 10, and that's the first concept you can start teaching them. In this case, I'm gonna be using a paper plate, a pencil, a marker, and a ruler, but you can use your creativity, and you need a circle and something that will show the numbers, and then you will need something to mark a straight line. You can use a string or another sheet of paper. You don't have to have a ruler. So in this case, since I am using a paper plate, I am going to fold it in half and mark the fold really hard, and then I unfold it and mark the half again. So when I unfold it, I am gonna have a circle with 4 parts, divided into 4 parts, very exact, or as much as possible, you know. So on top, I'm gonna have the 0. That's the first number I'm going to write, and then on the bottom, I am going to write a 5, and then to fill out all the other spaces with the numbers, try to get them even. Try to separate them evenly, but they don't have to be very exact. It really doesn't matter that much. It doesn't affect much. So what I would do, I would put on the board, write the question that I want to answer with my students. For example, how can you make the number 10 if you are studying tens? So different ways of how to make 10. The first equation that where I would start would be from 9 and plus 1 and then equals 10. And as you can see here in the picture, you connect the 9 with the 1, and you can trace the line or just get the answer by marking with the ruler without tracing anything. It depends on what you want to do. Here the next number would be 8 plus 2 equals 10, and then the same thing, you mark from the 8 to the 2. When you connect those two, you get a number 10 as a result. Then the 7 and 3, same thing, connect the 7 and the 3 to get 10. The same with 6 plus 4, you connect the 6 with the 4 and you get 10. When you get to the 5, number 5 is by itself. So you can teach them about double numbers. Because if you have a 5 and you put another 5, then equals 10. That's another important concept that I would spend some more time in it. And then the last one I personally would teach would be the 0 plus 10. Why? Because it is just the younger the students are, or if they don't have any background knowledge, it is harder for them to understand the concept of the 0 and how it works. So especially with the 10, because you have a 10, 1, and another 0. So it depends on what you as a teacher want to do. But for me, I would teach this last, because I would say, well, the 0 plus any other number will give you as a result the number that you wanted to get. So I would do that last. I know I just gave one example about how to use the number wheel, but there are so many ways of using it that even if I dedicated a whole video, it will take me a lot longer to explain this. So I am going to add a link to another teacher's channel that's called Mr. Numbers. I like, in my research, I was looking at many ways of how to use the number wheel, and it has multiple uses. And this is the video that I like the most, and that I feel that it would apply to what we are doing right now. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm gonna play a little bit so you kind of recognize what it is, so you can find it easier.
Today, I'm going to show you how to help your kids make number circles. Number circles seem magical and are a profound approach to teach addition, multiplication, and much more in a fun, visual way.
As you can see, that it has shapes and...
It's very helpful for kids to learn to make their own number circle. They learn a lot about numbers, and also they take ownership of an approach to math that makes sense to them. Preschools who can write their numbers are ready to make...
Okay, so that's it for now. My references are right there. The link for Mr. Numbers will be also placed in the discussion, on the discussion under the video link. So if you want to find out more about how to use the number wheel, you can learn how to use it and how to apply it. I would practice a lot just because it's me, but you might just get it instantly and you don't need any practice.